Hello. Welcome to the Eddie Conversation Podcast, episode number, what did I say? 28. And my name is Eddie Vigil, and I am your host. Today I'm joined with...
Srushti Kalse.
Yes, you said it. Great.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Thanks for being on. All right, let me introduce you a little bit to the people listening / watching. As this is available on YouTube as well, if you're listening on the podcast. Subscribe, rate, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, please do.
You are, I think of you as a cinematographer, director of photography. Mm-hmm. What is there anything else I like to ask? Is there anything you would like to tack on to that? How do you see yourself when?
Well, director of photography, basically. Mm-hmm. But since I've come here and learned that there are a lot of other things that come under it, which I really love. So I love gaffing, controlling the lights, and focus pulling and everything. But yeah, my main focus is being a cinematographer, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good start.
Yeah.
All right. So when you say coming here, do you mean that just for people that because I know who you are. We've chatted before. We worked together before. What do you mean? Do you mean Los Angeles?
Yeah, definitely. Like joining film school in Los Angeles. So I'm from India, and I started from nothing basically because I don't have like a background in film industry or anything, and and basically I did not have anybody else telling me what goes in the industry or like during filmmaking or anything as such. So all of that I got to learn over here in the film school, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so so you're from India. Mm-hmm. You decided to jump into film.
Yeah.
But you didn't have like a foundation. Like, how did you? Because I know you did stuff in India before you moved here. Yeah. Like you worked on some documentary stuff and whatnot. So what did you do there? And then what? I'm curious about the film school experience too, because I know that's a whole story on its own.
So basically, how I started.
Yeah, let's jump into that. Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, I think I started as a lover of documentaries, and like since the very beginning, I've been a big avid traveler, like since my childhood, basically, and I used to watch a lot of documentaries. So from there, I realized I wanted to be that person behind the camera, like the one who's controlling the camera. Like I had more admiration for them than I wouldn't say, actually, like I had admiration for everything going on in the documentary industry, like people on the camera, in front of the camera, behind the camera, but more like behind the camera, basically the camera operators. So that's what I wanted to pursue, and I did not know anything about, like who are these people. I did not even know the term cinematography. I was just like, I want to be that person with that camera in his hand or whatever.
So what was it about? Was it about the specific looks of the film, or was it about the stories being told through the documentary?
Oh yeah.
I'm just like there's like the directors that are kind of helping guide the story and that kind of stuff, and then there's the cinematographer who's holding the camera, capturing the moments.
Yeah.
So when you're saying camera, were you combining also the story element on top of that?
Yeah. Basically, I think it's just the camera element. The story comes a little after that. I mean, why I really love documentaries is because it tells you the truth. In fact, last night, I watched a documentary called Seaspiracy. I think it's one of the best documentaries I've watched. It's all
Mm.
about how, you know, how fish industry is ruining the ecosystem basically, and how fish are so important for
For the
uh,
planet.
for the climate, and how they them diminishing is a big reason for climate change and all that. In fact, I used to love eating fish. I am scared of fish, but I ate fish a lot. But after that, I'm like convinced that
Mm.
I should stop eating fish. So that's the beauty of documentaries, because it tells you the truth. It tells you what's happening, around the world.
Yeah, it gets you up close and personal
Yeah,
on
up close and
different
personal.
topics. Have you, so you've been, have you shot any documentaries yourself?
Uh, I've shot like travel documentaries. That's how I started basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I jumped directly into narratives. I haven't gotten the chance, but ultimately that's my goal,
The,
aim
the,
towards
the
life.
documentary side.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is that? Well, all right, let's talk. So is there any specific, how does that, what's the dream documentary? Do you have any ideas on like what kind of stories you want to be telling, or what kind of people you want to be following, or how that works, or
I want to get into like adventure and lifestyle documentaries. Um, yeah, I mean, I would love to do that because I'm a traveler. I
mm-hmm.
I want to cover all that, but again, at the same time, whatever helps to get the story out, like the big picture, the something like Seaspiracy, basically. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, so you want to help expose
Yes,
some
help expose the big picture.
it's okay. Because yeah, 'cause the thing with I've talked about, okay, when I think about documentaries from like more of the producer brain,
Mm-hmm.
it'll click in and be like, documentaries scare me for the reason of like you're diving into, like, you're chasing a story almost similar to, like, I feel like a journalist would be chasing, and you're just rolling the camera forever,
Yes.
following stuff, showing up to stuff, trying to get in there, and like you don't really know if you're gonna reach the thing you're trying to reach, or what you're gonna uncover, or if you're gonna, like, that, all that kind of stuff is weird to me, where you're very blind in that kind of thing,
Yeah.
in a way where it's I think about it in terms of like almost the acting side too, with like improvising, where there's
Mm.
there's there's an overall script you're trying to hit, but you have that freedom within the moments to move around
Yeah.
and see stuff and capture stuff. And I don't know, because like it could be very time intensive too, where you're chasing a story for years,
Yeah.
and it scares me. but,
Personally,
but I
I
like it.
have like a lot of patience, and trust me when I say a lot, like I really do have a lot of
Okay.
patience. And when I think about, like, I've heard like people living in small cabins just to capture one picture, one moment of that one tiger, Bengal tiger, and they've been waiting for like a year long in that one small cabin in the woods. And it doesn't scare me at all. It's like I would do it for
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, it takes a lot of research, takes a lot of patience and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean,
Yeah. 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 Okay. So let's jump back to growing up in India a little bit.
mhm.
How is it? Because I'm sure that, whew, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what the ratio is with people working in the industry,
Mhm.
where there's like a percentage of people that kind of grew up knowing what the industry was, and then people like you or people even like me where it's like nobody in the family has ever done it before. You don't even really know where to start and just kind of jumping into it blind and trying to figure it out as you go. Like, I don't know what the percentage is, like if it's like 50-50 or 90%, like whatever the case is. Can you walk me through what your experience was on that?
Well,
Or just being an Indian and going through. I don't know if it's. I feel like it'd be very similar, but
so the world has become so small. I think
mm,
now people are like more exposed to everything that is going around, and that is why people who don't have anybody in industry, even those people are like coming up and wanting to pursue what they've never seen before. And I think that's what happened to me, since like I did not have anybody who could tell me what the real picture is of the industry. Or I did face a lot of difficulties actually. uh, so when I started, I moved to Mumbai for my graduation, I mean my bachelor's in mass media. And I thought that that would bring me closer to cameras, cinema.
mm,
Well, it did not so much. It just, yeah, we had this one lecture, one class explaining what cinema is, and that's about it.
mm,
But yeah, even that helped me a lot. It, made me understand what cinema really is, composition, like whatever elements of filmmaking, basically. Um, I did have I met a couple of people who wanted to be cinematographers, but they had connections in the industry already.
mhm,
But then there was this one person who worked as a mentor to me. It's because of him that I got to know a lot about what it really actually takes to be a cinematographer, because even he did not have anybody in the industry. He started from the scratch, and he helped me. uh,
start from scratch too. Yeah.
yes, he helped me out in a lot of ways. But even so, I wasn't convinced that I know what I need to know. Like, I knew that I had to learn a lot to get where I want to get. Yeah. And under him, I've worked a lot under him. I also worked as a production designer, director. And I've had like people telling me, like, whenever I used to tell them that I want to be a cinematographer, they just used to be like, you need to have connection in the industry. You don't have to do this. Just stick to, PD. Just don't get into that. And more importantly, that
Mm.
you're a girl, you're a female, you have no value in the industry. And I remember actually considering working as an art director and giving up cinematography. But then just the next day I was like, no, that's the dream. I need to focus on my dream.
Yeah, so
I mean,
you had the thought for a whole night.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because
No, for sure.
I'm sure about like only one thing in my life right now, and that's this goal, this aim of being a good cinematographer, if nothing else. I don't know about anything else in life basically right now, but yeah, that thing is
So
for sure.
how is it looking back on the times with your mentor at that moment? Like, how what what were the main points you pulled from that experience that you have kept, even though you knew that you had to learn a lot, but the most of what you absorbed from him, is it still there, or was it like, oh, we did a lot of stuff wrong, or quote unquote wrong?
So what I the biggest thing I learned from him is that you need to have a business mind. Basically, you need
Mm,
to be able to talk to people, network with people. It's not only your talent that will get you ahead. It's how you carry yourself, how you put yourself out there, you know. that's one big thing that he taught me. I'm still working on it, but
Sure,
yeah,
sure. It's a lifelong process there.
yeah, because I mean, I've seen so many people who have communication skills way better than their talent, and
Hmm.
they're doing very good now. You know?
Sure, sure.
So yeah, I'm still working on that. That's one
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. How that's a weird thing, right? The talent versus being able to put yourself out
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Um, how,
In
how
fact, yesterday I was talking to my friend.
hmm
She comes from Europe, and that's what we discussed, how the industry is over here and how filmmaking is back in Europe, and what the main difference is. Over here it's way more commercial, it's more about money. um, Filmmaking is a business, and over there it's more like an art. And as much as that lures me, like that calls for me, the art side,
hmm
I also want to make a living out of my business.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Ideally, you could do it and still and afford to live.
Yeah.
is the
Yes.
is the dream.
That's the dream.
Because I know for me, I don't know. Like I feel like the putting yourself out there's I don't know how long the I feel like it's a forever thing that you always have to get better at doing. Is like, all
Yeah.
right, sweet. I was able to build my skill set up enough to land a gig. That's a good start. And then, all right, how do I get another gig? And then how do I get a bigger gig?
Yeah.
How do I get on that person's shoot?
Mm.
How do I get this studio to pick me up? How do I, get James Cameron's attention to shoot his new Avatar movie? Like all that kind of stuff is kind of it's a ladder that you're always gonna be
Exactly.
because what we're shooting okay because that's one thing I'm experimenting now too is I'm releasing my first movie
Oh yeah, yeah.
on Friday. So
Oh, sweet.
this will drop tomorrow. So the
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. So it's kind of like that similar thing where it's like, all right, well, when you talk about it being a business, it's like, all right, I have a movie. Ideally, I can capitalize on it and get it to people that aren't just my close network to watch it. It's like, all right, how do I get actual? This is like a good trial period to just like
Yeah.
how do I expand it and then
Yeah.
again keep growing from there. But I know. Oh, did you have any thoughts there? Okay.
No, I'm just thinking about what your movie is about. I want to know more about this. Tell me
Sure.
about it.
So the movie, to sidetrack to me for a second.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. Um, it's a nice little. I kind of jokingly call it a drom com, where it's like a romantic, dramatic
Mm.
comedy.
Wow, that's a nice
Uh,
genre.
so it's about Rachel, who is a an agoraphobic life coach,
Mm.
and I'm not sure if you're familiar with agoraphobia or what.
It's is it? I'm not sure.
It's like an anxiety, the high anxiety, basically like the fear of venturing out into the world,
Yeah, yeah,
where the ultimate fear, or like a potential ultimate fear of somebody who's agoraphobic, is not only just being outside, it's like the fear of sudden death.
and people,
Yeah,
strangers.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So the worst case scenario would be like you're out like at a big mall, an outdoor mall or something, and there's big crowds around you. You're freaking out, and you want to get home. And your heart's like racing, and you're afraid you're gonna have a heart attack and die.
Okay.
And so the worst thing is like not only are you dying, but you're also embarrassing yourself in front of all these strangers,
Right.
and like just all that fear combined.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So the way to avoid it is just you stay home and avoid the world. So it's her journey to get back into the world. and she has she's got some form of agoraphobia, and she makes her living as a life coach. So she's kind of helping people how to live while she
wow.
her side
Oh, wow. Wow.
is
And
not
how
living.
is it a feature? Is it a short
It's a
film?
feature film.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I
Sweet.
shot that a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so excited.
So I'm excited for you to see it. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
for you to see it. Um, but yeah, it's just another one of those things like when you say putting yourself out there or kind of along those lines, it's not enough to just harness the skill set of like, oh, I made a movie. It's like, well, so what? Can
Right.
you convince me that you can make another one, or can you
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff? So it's fun times, fun
It's
times.
yeah.
Because I know you last time we talked because we're helping um, Mr. Mark Hensley
Oh yeah.
kind of shoot some stuff for a crowdfunding campaign for his upcoming feature,
Right.
and on the drive home, you're talking about a book you're reading. How's
Oh.
that coming?
So that's my way of exploring how to be more, how to put myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because so this book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Um, explores more about how to be social, how to um, like how to be more likable, how to
Mm-hmm.
basically influence people into liking your work, even if it's not about liking your work, it's more about liking you, how to win friends and influence people.
Sure, sure. What are the? Have you finished the book or
No.
okay? What are the keys that you've learned so far? Like what is stuff that you've kind of like? All right, this is stuff I could
I
try and do. Like what's on your list right now? Because being social is kind of difficult right now
I
with.
haven't I haven't touched that book yet. I have read like 15 pages
All right, well,
and then
it's a
I've just been
start.
busy. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I really want to finish it as soon as possible so that
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the all right. What what are your thoughts on it, on the ideas of it so far? Like, how does one create stuff that people will like, or what makes somebody likable to you? Like, how does
I think it's all about how good you are with them, how good at communication you are. Um, it's basically the last thing I read in that book was when you have to tell people that a certain thing is necessary, you know, for say you're on a what do you call it,
a film set?
a film set, and you want to convince people to wear those hats, what do you call them, let's say
The hats.
construction sites, and those
Oh, a hard hat.
hard hat, right?
I thought you were gonna say like one of those face shields or something, but for COVID days. But
Oh yes, let's cut that. Let's say you're on a film set and you have to tell people that you have to wear the face shield, your your masks, um, and they're just gonna not like you if you just go straight up to them and be like, please wear it, like be
mm-hmm.
rude or something. They're just not gonna follow it. But if you ask them, tell them what they have in it, what's
Mm-hmm.
good for them in it, that's when it actually works. That's when they actually consider it. Um, that's when they actually even like you because you're being kind, you're being reasonable. Yeah. So that's what I learned. Um,
Right. Where it's
give
not.
them what they want, basically. Give them what's good for them.
Yeah.
Um, I guess.
Yeah. Make it. Well, I mean, okay, for sure, for sure. It so it's not really what you say; it's how you say it.
It's how you say it, basically.
And no, that makes sense. Because I've read my fair share of like self help books and efficiency books and all that kind of stuff. Where I know, or it was like I think one of the early books that I read when I was still working at a call center, transitioning into freelance life.
Ooh.
It was I think the book was called like You Can Negotiate Anything.
Oh, wow.
So it
Okay.
was kind of like negotiation tactics and like tactic number. The overall base tactic is make it a win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's not just I want time off from work. It's like trying to make it like I'm working with you and you want to keep me, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I do good. I show up. I'm willing to quit my job,
Mm-hmm.
but ideally I could still work here and I really like you and
Yeah.
let's make this work. Can I have Tuesdays and Thursdays off early because of this? I've got my like kind of that transparency and letting them know that you're trying to make it work.
Yeah.
And I was able to negotiate like early. I had like I was the only person in the office with like a special schedule where I mean I think I lied about like going to college or something at the time because I was done with, I had graduated, but like I mentioned I was taking some additional classes or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So I had to like fake a whole schedule sometimes to squeak out some of the stuff, but most
Mm-hmm.
of the time, whatever. There's some fudging, some white lies in there. They just need to see that you're trying. Um,
So let me ask you, how did you get into filmmaking?
oh
Like,
wow, that's oh.
and what aspect of filmmaking do you like the most?
Okay, well first let me ask you a question to
Okay.
bounce it. How when you what do you see me as when it comes to film?
Films. I think you can make a very good director, and you are a good script supervisor.
Have you seen me script supervise?
Yeah, not professionally, but you were like
Oh.
the set we worked on with Michelle.
Mm.
That day you were like working as the sound
Yeah, I kind of.
mixer, but um, there were these times when you just jump in as a script supervisor, like, so well that should go over there, and it would be good for you to do this.
Oh, and the one
Ah,
and the 180 line and stuff too. I
yeah,
helped you out
yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. You remember. I have a bad memory. Sorry.
No,
But
no, no.
yeah, it
You
stuck to my head. Like.
okay? So directors. Okay, primarily what I focus on these days is directing and script supervising. Those are the two aspects that I have the most fun in. Um, I also feel like I'm really good on the assistant director side too, with scheduling and
Mm-hmm.
coordinating and getting stuff done, keeping us on schedule, understanding what needs to be done, and coordinating all of that. So those are my big three. I'll call them, but I don't really AD as much anymore. But I may be doing more of that soon.
Let me also put in
Oh
that
sure.
you're a very good script writer, screenplay writer, basically.
Mm.
When you put my vision on those papers, oh my god, I was like mind blown. Really, I'm
Oh,
not
you
even
were
kidding.
mind blown.
I was like,
Dang.
this
Praise.
thing, I want to shoot this thing right away. But yeah, well,
All right. Okay. Well, all right. To talk on that for a moment, then I'll get
yeah,
back to me again
yes,
because
yes,
I also enjoy speaking. Take some weight off of
of
you.
course, sorry.
Um, you're referring to okay. So you moved to the States for film school,
Yeah,
and you attended the New York Film Academy, NYFA,
yeah,
in Los Angeles. Um, I we connected via Instagram, I
oh yeah,
believe,
yeah.
and we had worked on like we had collaborated on like a couple of small things, and then you mentioned that you could use a director for your senior, like your thesis,
Yeah,
or what project was it? Was it
it
considered a
was
thesis?
my semester 2 project,
Okay, semester,
intermediate.
sure. So I was like, sweet, cool. I would love to direct for you. So then you pitched me the story, and then I wrote it and try to use my producer brain too to keep it producible for
Yeah.
the constraints you were saying at the time. Of course, COVID. You were pretty much in college through most of COVID,
Yeah.
so that
Pretty much.
we'll get to that. But primarily, the project didn't end up kind of happening because of all of the back and forth with the school and
Right.
what they were
Yeah.
going to allow to happen and all that. So regardless, I'm glad you liked the script. I was very happy with it too because it was more. Um, the genre was dark and kind of eerie and scary, but like in like a nice subtle, like more of a subtle way, but it still had like horror elements and
Yeah.
kind of this unsettling vibe with it. So it's not really my main writing thing, but I was happy that I felt like your vision with how I wrote. I don't know. I thought it came out good too.
No,
I was
yeah,
happy
it
with it.
definitely did.
So we'll see. We'll see if that sees the light of day ever. But no worries, no pressure. But I
Yeah.
got. I don't know if we've ever talked about it before, but like I got into film. I graduated from college with an engineering degree,
Oh, wow.
and then my plan was to, at some point, I think my last semester of college, I had done so much math that I'm like, I could really use some sort of just like fun class to have this break because like thermodynamics and calculus and all that kind of stuff was torture.
For
So
sure.
I took a acting 101 class for some reason. I think the summer before my final year, I was talking with another buddy that was mentioning that he also wanted to jump into film,
Oh.
and he was telling me about his plan, and I was like, all right, sweet, when you get yours going, bring me along. And he's like, well, unless if you don't have any experience, I can't really vouch for you because so I'm like, all right, well, I got to get myself some experience. I wanted to be an
Right.
actor first, so I
Oh,
took
wow.
acting 101.
I did not know you wanted to be an actor. Wow.
It was very brief. In the grand scheme of things, it didn't last very long.
Oh, all right.
But the acting class really helped. If you're ever looking to, I feel like it helped me with my person skills too, and just being open with myself. Like acting really forces you to dig deep and like, who am I? What do I have to offer? How do I bring
The
it out?
vulnerability.
How do I bring it out and open and showcase it? Which is very difficult,
Yes.
scary. So that was a good time. A lot of anxiety going through that, but I feel like I grew a lot through that process too, and did a couple of theater plays that summer into the winter, and then took an acting workshop where I was doing like scene study and kind of doing a class outside and stuff. And then I was from Reno, which it's not a film town, and I had to kind of like figure out. Well, I don't want to do theater. Like theater's not really like I want to be in movies. I don't want to be on the stage.
Right.
So I started producing my own stuff, and then
Wow.
quickie version, produced my own stuff. Realized I don't like acting, but
Oh,
I like the putting it
process.
together
Yeah.
and writing it and editing it. Like all that kind of stuff was fun. So I'm like, let me put somebody else on the front of the camera. Kind of solves
Right.
that issue, and move forward with that. And I didn't discover script supervising until like maybe like 5 years in or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And then that's when I
Oh,
moved to Los
sweet.
Angeles.
Ooh. All right.
Cool.
How has your experience been in Los Angeles?
All right. I don't know how. I need to talk to more people about their first couple of years that have been here longer. But my first year was about making the movie. So I landed here and I was like, I've made like 80 short films.
Oh my.
Let's up the game. Let's make a feature.
Oh.
And also build the foundation of freelance life and
Right.
survive here while also making a feature.
Yeah.
So that was difficult.
But 80 short films?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
in Reno, I founded a community film group, and we would kind of like just make stuff. We would make 2 short films a month for like 3 years, and they add up quick. So that was my film school, was just like making and trying new stuff and trying different roles and getting stuff done. But so when I got to LA, I was like, I'm really good at getting people together. I'm really good at seeing stuff through and getting it done and putting it out there. So I just have to do the same thing again with a new pool of people that have more experience, that are also like a little bit more inclined to push with their own crafts, like all that kind of stuff. So I'm like kind of piling up, like kind of like picking people off the sets that I've worked on. I'm like, all right, sweet. I want to work with you. I want to work with you. And then eventually when I made my movie, I had a good enough network to where I could make that. But that was like year 1 was that. And then year 2 was 2020, which of course was the year that it was, where like stuff was really getting going for me on the freelance life. And I'm like, this is good. I'm getting like really high paying commercial gigs. I'm on features. And then year 2 was also about getting the feature out of the edit.
Sorry, what?
Getting the movie out of post-production.
Oh yeah, your movie.
Yeah. And then here we are midway through year 3, and stuff is picking back up again. But I don't know specifically what you're curious about on the LA experience for me, but
like, how do you find LA? Like, how is it living here? Yeah, I mean, you told me about your filmmaking experience and everything. I want to know more about
being in the city.
Yeah, being in the city, how hectic is like working on film sets. How do you find the people here? Your experiences with different kind of people in the industry.
All right. Do you mind if you answer those questions first? Or I can answer a couple. LA for me is a stress pit. It's very scary. There's a lot of weight and pressure that the city puts on you to succeed. The high rents, the everybody that I've lived with, they also feel the pressure because they're also going through and trying to pursue their own stuff. So relationships are difficult because everybody is just stressed trying to make it, and then also sustain a relationship of either friendship or otherwise. And traffic is crazy, and everything is packed, and especially like right now, there are really long lines everywhere because, restaurants have limited availability and parking is a pain. And so really, my thing about LA is like, I wouldn't live here if I wasn't doing film. And I don't do much outside of film. Like, I was kind of joking with another buddy recently that I had the thought that, like, I don't have a life.
Oh my God.
Like, outside of, like, there's work, and that's kind of like all I do.
All you do.
It's like, all right, it's either developing projects to shoot, finishing projects I've shot, trying to get on set to work. Like, it's kind of like the life.
But don't you think
that
is better in this age and at this time? Like, isn't that what you require?
I feel like it's necessary. It's just like, it was like a weird thought. I'm like, I don't really mind, because there's not really anything to do in this town right now anyway. Like, I can go to the beach, which is cool and chill, which I enjoy. Yeah. But I've never really been like a big entertainment person to go to concerts and stuff. But
I see.
So there's that. I miss the. I would do coffee a lot with people in the early days. I would always be meeting up for coffee, different cool hipster spots and whatnot. But
you're making me nostalgic now.
It's good times. I miss them. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like I've almost moved past the coffee meetup, but it almost feels like
now it's all virtual meetups.
It's like, can't we just like? I'll just have you on the podcast. Okay. So what about you? Because you came in a couple months before COVID hit. So.
Oh yeah. Um, well,
How do you
it
find the
was
people?
like a dream coming here, going to NYFA. It was like a dream come true.
Mm.
In fact, February and March, I came in January, like 25th January 2020, and Feb and March were like the best
Mm.
2 months of my life or something.
Mm.
It was like heaven on earth. I was like hustling, going to school, meeting new people. Um, there was like cultural shock here and
Mm.
there, but then
Tell me about that. I want to hear more about that.
uh, it's a little weird being surrounded by different cultures and ethnicities, and there's such diversity over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to being only surrounded by Indians back in India,
Right,
like,
right.
but US, the land of the free,
Especially Los Angeles. Yeah.
especially Los Angeles, yes, and so I was like overwhelmed so much that I wasn't able to accept the fact that I'm here. I wasn't like, it took me a long time taking it all in. Like, I was just like floating basically the first 2 months. My instructors were like really good, and I was doing the thing I've dreamt about. Yeah, it was all coming to my dreams were coming to life
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit. I think that's when I met you. Like, that's when we connected on Instagram, I guess. Yeah, but after that, literally, like everything started collapsing. We had to accept the fact that there are not gonna be in-person classes for the rest of my time in the school. So yeah, um, everything was online. The fact that my course, cinematography, requires more hands-on experience, practical things and everything, but all of that was converted into online training. Um, but yeah, we were like given the opportunity to, shoot our projects, but not the way we want them to be, like too many restrictions in pre-production and everything. And getting a green light was like almost impossible. Like, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
basically very difficult to focus on the art, and it was all about COVID, COVID, COVID. Yes,
Understandably.
everything was all about that. But then me and my me and my friends basically who came here to do something, to make something out of their lives, we all decided that it's not about the school anymore, it's about us and our reels, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just do whatever it takes to get it done. So we started hustling, but yeah, we were not allowed to shoot outside our apartments, and yeah, a lot of restrictions even there. But I think it's my friends and my colleagues that helped me, you know, get where I am right now. A lot of it was them. So yeah, credits to them.
Yeah. So, because filmmaking, of course, is already difficult.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
can you talk a little bit about what restrictions the school was asking you to fulfill in order to shoot, if you
Yeah.
recall those specifics?
Um, just like maintaining distance even on set. Like, how do you expect a focus puller to be away from the camera? But yeah, I mean, we figured all that out. Um, Limited people in a specific area. Um, Even with the actors, they were not supposed to be intimate or anything, like no intimacy scenes, because then you have to be like really close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the camera is supposed to be way far away, like, okay, 6 feet distance from the actors and everything. So we couldn't get the, you know, the shots that we wanted. We had to like
Yeah.
change things in our scripts. Everything was difficult. So I've worked a lot as a grip as well. So it's it gets difficult after a point wearing your mask and lifting those heavy equipments. It just gets difficult.
Sure,
And
sure.
one moment you remove your mask and you're like, you call that, just
Put your mask back on.
put your mask back on. So
That's
it
good.
was a
That's
little
good. Because I've been on plenty of
difficult.
sets where masks are coming off and nobody cares.
It was the safety meetings were all about COVID.
Sure.
Of course, I mean, I get it. But yeah,
Well,
a lot of that.
so I wanted to. All right. I don't know. All right. So back to Los Angeles.
Okay. Yeah.
Culture shock, diversity,
Yeah.
very interesting. Because I've talked about it before, but I've only been out of the country once.
So you've not been out of the country once.
I've only been out of the country overseas once,
Oh,
and it
okay.
was for Indonesia.
Oh.
And I wouldn't call it culture shocked. Maybe I don't know. But it was weird for me having the reverse effect where it's like there are only Indonesian people here.
Yeah.
And I'm like the American that's taller, and like I was tall there. And it was just weird. But it was different. I was like, whoa. I'm used to seeing different shapes and heights and sizes and
talking about tall people, I recently took a trip back to India,
right.
and I had got some, gifts and clothes for my parents and everything. I went back and I realized I took like extra large sized clothes according to the people that I see here, while my parents are like small and tiny as they were, and I'm just like, shit.
You forgot how big
Yes, how tall or I got used to seeing tall and different sized people over here that I completely forgot what my family looked like. That's so sad. But then, yeah, things to remember the next time I go back to India.
Hopefully.
But yeah, things like, so this one time, like, I was walking on the left side of the lane on the footpath.
Mm-hmm.
And people were just like, when they were like coming in front of me,
right,
they
right.
wanted to come from their right side. And I was like, why on earth aren't they just like going from my right side? Then I realized, like, here they have like left hand.
The driving, yeah.
Left hand? Yeah, left hand driving or something, right?
The driver's on the left side, but you're driving on the right side of the road.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's different in India. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
So, just small things like that. Yeah, there's no kilos. It's miles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just small things. And basically, like, having such amazing instructors, I'm not used to that. From where I come from, like, I've had not such good instructors, I would say. People over here talk more about their experience. Like, my instructors particularly, they talked more about their experiences and where they went wrong and what their way of working is, rather than the conventional, oh, this is what you should do and this is what you should, like, this is the only way you should do this and there's no other way. Over here, like, we were given more variety. We were like given different plates to choose from, basically, I would say. And people are like really kind here. I have never in my life seen like strangers come up to me asking how I'm doing.
Really?
But people, yeah, like in India, you just like give a what straight up bitch face look, I guess. You can censor that if you want to
No, it's all good. Chill, chill out.
when they walk by. But over here, people are always
Really?
very friendly, greeting you here and there.
That's good. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, the grad students.
Oh, you've had Indian instructors?
I think I can recall one in particular, but I recall seeing a lot of them in the lab and stuff.
Yeah. Fucking Indians are. I did not say that.
Well, they make up a large chunk of the population of the world.
Yeah, right.
So, math. All right, I'll jump in at this point here. We probably won't use that.
Yes, please.
Where were we?
Oh. Los Angeles?
I'm gonna pull up the text here. Srushti. All right. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about where you're at right now and your thought process on this next phase, this next chapter, I'll call it, of your life, of your time in LA. Not to stress you out, but you recently graduated
Yeah.
from
NYFA.
your time at NYFA. So congrats on that.
Oh, thank you.
And like you said, you went home and took some time back in India for a bit, and then now you're back and jumping into the. I was teasing you earlier about like welcome to the real world now and like freelance life and
Oh, yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So what is it? What is it like? And what's up?
So it was so difficult coming back from India, let me tell you, because I knew that this is the time, this is the year, a golden ticket that decides what happens to me. I'm so sorry.
Phones on silent, everybody.
I'm so sorry.
Just kidding. It's fine.
Like this is the year that I need to, you know, prove to myself, my parents, the world, because
Whoa. A lot of pressure.
I
Okay.
like my country, but I don't like the quality of cinema that goes in there. I don't know if you should put this on the
No, it's just an opinion. It's fine.
yeah.
And you're
But
being general as well. I don't have much experience watching Indian films. But
yeah, they're entertaining, and audience wants that. It's what they're looking for in India. They do a 9 to 5 job. All they want is entertainment out of cinema, and now other movies like, let's say, periodic movies or like good movies are like coming up in India, in Bollywood, but at the same time it's all quantity over quality over there, according to me. I like the quality of movies over here, narratives. So yeah, that's the plan. But yeah, this year decides whether, I will be able to work here or go back to India.
so, yeah, what are the how does it play out? Because I don't know how it works. So I understand the aspect of it of this is the year that determines
Yeah.
what path I'm gonna be on, because I felt like that every single year that I've been here. It's like, all right, gotta get this foundation built, and if I can do that, if I can do that, I can stay. If I can't do that, I guess I gotta figure something else out. All right, I did that. Okay, now I've got to figure this next part out for this next year. That'll determine everything else. So is it more like that, or is there another
So yeah, no,
element on there too?
there's this thing that after my graduation, we're given this whole year for our optional practical training, as they call it. It's 1 year of work, basically, on student visa. I'm still on student visa. And after this, once the student visa is over, I'll either have to apply for an O1 visa, which is work visa, or go back, basically. So that is if I don't get a work visa. And it is kind of difficult getting work visa in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean,
How
not so difficult. You just have to work for it.
you
So
gotta
yeah,
work
this
for
is
that
the
work
year.
visa? Okay. Those are some high stakes.
Yeah. You know, like getting your work out there, winning a decent amount of film festivals, just all of that.
Some accolades and pay,
Yeah.
ideally.
Oh, and since,
Because,
like you said, living over here is expensive. It is very expensive. The rent is so expensive. Like, so I aim on at least,
okay.
like, sustaining myself.
All
Yes.
right. Okay. I'm trying to think. So, what is entailed? What needs to? Okay, accolades take time too. Is the other thing that I'm thinking about as
What's the
well.
word that you're using?
Accolade. It's like awards. Like accolade is like recognition for
Oh, okay.
just like
Okay.
yeah,
I got it.
yeah,
It's a new word to me.
accolade.
I'm gonna note it down in my.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So yes, gaining recognition in film festivals doesn't happen in a year, because, or that's, which I don't mean to stress you out again. Like it's just something I'm thinking about and trying to
Yeah.
how this works, because
Yeah.
even if we made a film today, submitted it to Sundance, like Sundance isn't until next
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
And then the accolades don't come until like the event happens, and then they announce the feature film best of show.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dog award. No, it's not best of show. It's best of fest or something. So like I'm trying to imagine. Of course, there's plenty that'll drop by the end of the year and stuff. Those are maybe like more local film fests and stuff, but.
It's basically how good your work is and how people want you to be here, basically. How bad they want you
Right.
to work for them. Basically, just all that.
Yeah.
Making
It's
your.
okay. So so in a nutshell, your success depends on the opinion of others.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which I guess is kind of like in
Art
general.
needs validation.
Yeah.
It's just.
I'm not a fan. I don't know. I'm not a fan of film festivals at all.
Yeah.
I hate the film festival circuit, and I put it off for like ever. I got my first award. Anyway, I got
Tell
my
me
first.
about it.
I got my first award from a film fest just like in February.
Wow.
And I have this tendency to just talk things down. I'm like this film, like you don't know, like.
Come on. Be proud of you.
Sure, it's cool. I just don't understand why people care so much that an award came in. Like, that's just a weird thing in my brain where it's like, all right, it's cool that these other people acknowledge that the work is good, but why do you care so much that they care that they like, why don't you just like, doesn't you liking it enough? Like, why do you need them to also like, but
No, yeah, I totally
it's a
agree.
weird, it's
Um,
a
it
weird thing.
it matters more to me because that's my ticket to Hollywood.
That's different. Okay, so how does, I don't know if you're too familiar in it with it, but I'm definitely not with what does it take to get a work visa and continue living here, especially in the film industry? How does that work?
Recommendations from
Ooh.
good known people. Um, the people you work for, sometimes they help you get the work visa because they might want you to continue working for them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's this artist visa, which you have to, you know, convince them that you're good enough and your art is like liked by people here and that
Mm-hmm.
they need you over here or something.
Yeah, you're contributing to the
Yeah,
states, I
the
guess.
states,
You're
yes,
offering something that
they don't
people,
have
yeah,
or something,
yeah,
I guess. But considering there's so much competition here,
sure, always the case.
it scares me.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you gotta keep trying, you gotta keep pushing, right?
for
Yeah.
sure, all the best.
So that's the goal for this whole year.
Well, okay, I mean that's a big broad goal. I am curious to like, so is it primarily, I don't know what you're interested in doing either. Like I know you as a, like I said, a cinematographer, director of photography. World, you also mentioned that you can AC, which I don't know. So you mentioned focus pulling. That's the first AC, the first assistant camera,
I can
making sure.
AC, I can gaff, I can grip, like
So
I
you, okay.
anything.
Anything on the cinematography
Yeah.
side, you can light and you can. But okay, well, rank the positions in favorability. Like
What I'm.
if you're being brought onto a project and you can choose between being a gaffer and a grip,
Yeah.
or a second AC versus a first AC. I don't know.
Like
Sure, I'm just.
what my best skills are.
I'm thinking more about what do you have, the combination of the skills and having fun. Like, if you're
Uh,
not being brought on as a DP, because that's of course the
um, so on the top is obviously like cine, DP.
sure, of
Then
course.
comes gaffing. Then comes first ACing. Then second ACing. Then gripping. Actually, I also like PD
Oh, okay,
because
yeah.
that's how. So back in India, I worked a lot as a PD, and people really started liking my work. Uh, I like that artsy side. I like to decide what goes on the frame basically.
Mm-hmm.
So even here, when I'm told that PD is not my department as a DP, as a director of photography, I don't understand why, because, well, I'm the person who decides the frame. I want my frame to look good. So, am I not the one to give my input on what goes on the PD, you know?
Yeah, and to clarify for people, just in case, PD, production
Yeah.
designer.
Is art director. It's like what goes on the set. Basically, all the accessories, just designing the set, dressing up the set
Mm-hmm.
is PD.
For sure. Because I know I've worked with different DPs that have. Yeah, I mean, of course, filmmaking ideally is a nice collaborative effort where if you are the DP, you are communicating with the PD, with talking about here's the frame I'm looking for, what can we put here, and having that back and forth on, like, you could even suggest, is there any way we can get that sign over here?
Yeah.
Or they could come to you with the idea, if you're just like, this is looking empty, what can we put here? Like, because they obviously, they should have a better idea of what they're working with than what you know. It's like, well, we could do this. And you're like, oh, great idea. We just need something to look better.
Just collaboration.
So that's kind of how I see it. I feel like that is very important, and that's...
It's all in the pre-production, and your film depends on how good your pre-production is. I've realized that.
Have you tried to go into a film with no pre-production before? Or how did...
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done that a lot. Even on our set, the very first film that we worked on. Well, this didn't happen. I was like, yeah, but also the fact that I like doing things spontaneously, like as I see it, I guess. But then I've also realized if you want to work with a lot of people, big crew, you need to have like a good pre-production.
Gotta have a plan.
You gotta have a plan. Yes.
They don't teach you that in film school. Okay. All right. So no pressure on this, on 2021. It sounds like
no pressure.
Just be awesome and do your thing, and we'll see what happens, right?
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Thank you so much.
Yeah, crazy.
I hope it goes well for you too.
Oh, thank you.
I have heard you're also coming up with a new feature.
Yeah, we're not talking about that so much. I forgot to give you the heads up. It's a secret. I'll talk about that more later off camera.
Okay.
But yeah. For now, releasing the new movie.
I'm excited for it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm writing stuff and thinking about how I, in my own world, level up, and trying to join the script supervisor union too, and go union there, so I can get on union shows, which would be super cool. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
They slack over there at contract services, for sure, which isn't a secret. I don't know if you're familiar. I don't know if you guys have to go through no. Those are the people that I submit all my paperwork to. They're like the middle people between the union and me that help count all my days and all that kind of stuff to give the thumbs up to the union that I qualify. I think that's how it works.
I have some idea, but I haven't dug deeper into that. But yeah, good luck with that.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm just looking at my notes. I'm not trying to text people in the middle of this. Okay, so what?
Oh, before that.
Oh, please.
I'd like to know what platforms you're releasing this film on.
Yeah, so it's What's on the Inside, coming April 2nd, 2021. So we landed a distributor, and how that works is they're the ones who submit to all the platforms. I almost forget the name of the newest one they sent to us. I'm not familiar with them. It's like, all right, the main recognizable one that I feel like most people will go and watch it on is Amazon Prime Video, and then it's available on Fandango now, cable VOD, and like Vubiquity or something kind of weird. I'm not familiar with that one at all, but I put it in some of the promo material.
Oh, sweet.
So it's available in multiple spots, and then it's also available for, you can buy it as a DVD too, if you still watch DVDs.
Sweet. I want a signed DVD.
Oh, there you go. Please. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I'll buy one for myself just as a memento of physical.
Oh yeah.
Frame that thing up somewhere.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. All right. I want to talk about um, I don't know what. Okay, I want to jump into filmmaking again a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the the jumping to Los Angeles and learning from great instructors, and because I know I've been able to watch you work at different stages of you being here, of course, and I'm trying to watch for like, all right, like what you've been doing differently or what's going on, but what how do you approach this is a little bit of more of like a pitching yourself, but how do you approach the position of cinematographer? How do you, like, when, let's say when a director um, wants to hire a DP for their project, like what are those conversations, what do those look like? What's your experience with that, and kind of explaining how you approach things and how,
Well,
yeah.
I believe that you have to do whatever it takes to uh, provide to the story, serve the story, I would say. And I'm not at a position where I decide what my, what kind of stories I want to go for as of now. Right now, I'm just like open to whatever scripts that come to me. But yeah, when a director comes up to me and describes what they want for a particular movie, um, I ask them about what the kind of look they are going for. What we talk about, it's almost always kind of like a normal, casual conversations about their favorite movies and what their inspiration is behind the script that they've written. So then, I go through all of that. Um, yeah, I create like a lookbook for them on what I got out of that script or whatever. Yeah, I mean,
So when
yeah.
you say, all right, how do you go through that lookbook process? What's your...
So I break down the script mostly by the characters and the locations and how the lighting would go in that particular location. The color palette, yeah, that holds a lot of importance because then it decides your lighting, whether it's interior, exterior, whether what kind of lighting it is. Is it low key lighting, reverse key lighting, like um, yeah, all of that sort. And basically, I just put down a description of what I got out of that script, and if they like it, that I mean, that's how I pitch my work to them. If they like it, they would go for it, or maybe they would just try to tweak it a little bit here and there, but that's about it. Sorry.
You hungry? No, no
I
big deal.
guess.
Okay, no, that sounds about right to me. All right, so that's always a tough part too. Cause do you have a demo reel up?
Oh yeah,
You do
right
have
now.
I seen it before?
Have you seen my demo reel?
I don't feel like
It's on my
I
Instagram bio.
have. How long has it been there? I don't
uh,
recall. Maybe I've seen it.
a month actually.
Okay, I probably haven't seen it then. I feel
No, more than a month.
I don't think I've seen it before. Okay, because it is always kind of like I don't know how I look at DPs. Like I think I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
How you look at DPs. So what do you expect from a DP when you
Because
approach
for
them?
me, I think more about the personal interaction and how the conversations are going to go on set. Like I don't, I, I, I like to gauge how we communicate more than what you've done before. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, sweet, can you work? This is how I work, and I'll present myself as like, all right, well, we don't have much of a budget here, so start off with that. So sorry,
Yeah.
but I love what you do. Let's make something, or whatever the case is.
Right.
And I normally just kind of pitch. It's like, I guess, I don't know. I like to say, like for instance, the thing that I've done a lot lately is I like when the camera is handheld. Like I prefer that over tripod and steady stuff. But I feel like it's just because I love indie and the indie look so much versus trying to fake my zero budget for a high budget with like smooth stuff with
Right.
it's like no, we're gonna lean into it. Let's just like be in the moment with some handheld kind of
Yeah.
whatever. And then I make sure I state that that's a look I like, and then if the DP is for it, then it's a good fit. And if they're like, actually, I want more of like a Wes Anderson kind of vibe, where it's very stylized, symmetrical, like it's very the PD is very important in those
Exactly.
yeah cost like all that kind of stuff. It's more of a full encompassing single shot versus like that's not really what I've had the luxury of doing. I kind of like the idea of pushing for that at some point, but I guess I just look for, do we vibe? Can I trust you and you give me an accurate time on set? If I'm like, because often it's good to know the reliability of how much time we have and what we're
For
trying to do, and
that's your AD inside you
my
speaking
AD
up.
inside brain, because I like to know, all right, sweet, we do have time for me to talk to the actors, and we can block this
Right.
and we can really hone this in before we get the camera up on it. Or sometimes the camera comes first and we gotta figure this out, and then we'll dictate action around the camera a little bit more. And just knowing that I can trust my DP to roll with whichever one we're going with and to understand where we are versus trying to push their methods onto the production where it's like, no, 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 you're not the most important person here. I know you think you are, but let's think about the whole show
Yeah, right.
and how to make this good. I don't know.
See, as I said,
I'm
like
not a, yeah.
communication, it's so important. Like, yeah, I mean, I agree. As a director, you need to know who you're working with. You need to be able to communicate and be on the same page with them. That's what I've learned from working with different directors. But yeah.
What stuff could be helpful? Like, what are things that directors could do better from your perspective on communicating with you that you maybe felt like you're not getting enough information, and if they said this or this or this or this or gave you this, it'd be more helpful?
So sometimes directors, like some directors that I've worked with, cut. Some directors that I've worked with, they like they would like whatever you do, like as a DP. If you give them this angle, they'd just be like, "Yeah, I love this." And then at the same time, if you give them just a little bit another angle, yeah, I love this. So they actually just like everything that you do. Sometimes they have very little
I
say.
can be like that.
You can be like that.
Yeah.
They have very little say in what they want a lot of times, and that's when, as a DP, I realized, I have to step up and take charge and like decide what would be good on my reel, on their reel, on the story,
Sure.
for the story. So I that's a little bit difficult on the set when it comes to like spontaneous shooting. So that's when, I decided like, okay, we should we should have talked about this in pre-production, like what exactly what they're looking for. But then there are also directors who are very specific with the lighting they want, the angle they want, and the DP is just there like helping out. Yeah, sure. Like, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. So yeah, I mean, finding a middle ground over there, like, yeah, if this works for you and this works for me, we can do something in the in here between both of
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
things or
yeah.
something like that. But yeah.
It kind of feels how the direction I've definitely grown into, because I know when we shot It's What's on the Inside, I went very specifically through each scene and shot, because being that I knew that I was going to end up editing it too, like I wrote it and I broke it down as a director, and
Yeah.
then I shot listed it in a way where I'm like, okay, I'm going to edit this, so let me shoot it in a way where I know how the edit's going to play, so we're not getting extra coverage we don't need.
Yeah, see, yeah.
So I was very specific at certain points, but then like our budget was so small, like I didn't have like a director monitor. I would peek over at the frame, and the
Oh.
DP would have to like, hey, do you want to see the frame? And I'm like, I
Oh.
trust you, bro. I trust you, dude. And it worked out. But he would be like, no, like come look at the frame. I need you to sign off on this. And I'm like, fine, I'll look at the frame. I just trust you.
I just trust
And then I
you
go look
into
at it.
it.
I'm like, yeah, it's good. But sometimes I guess it'd be like, actually, can we push in a little bit on that or whatever? But
Because then, when they don't know when it's not about them not knowing, when you just be like, yeah, I'm okay with this, and then I'm okay with that too, that's when I feel like,
oh,
the director is hiding
you mean
something.
when there's options, or what do you mean?
Like, when they're just like fine with the frame that I said, that's when I feel like, oh, something I'm not doing. Like,
Oh,
I'm
is that kind of like the
not good
relationship kind
enough.
of thing where it's like, how are you doing? And then you're like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's like, no, you're
exactly.
not fine. Tell me the truth. What's
Yes,
wrong?
yes, exactly. So, yeah, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. And that's why the director is just like, oh, fuck it, whatever, just do it now.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll roll on that.
So, yeah, I mean,
Shucks.
I've realized the importance of communication so much in my life after working in this field. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
if you like something, like, tell me what you like about it. Like, if you don't like something, tell me what you don't
Because
like.
that's the
So,
difficulty too with directing in general, or even in all of it. It's experience. It's
yeah,
like sometimes you don't know why you don't like it. You don't know
yeah,
what's going to make it better. And is it the lighting? Is it the specific framing? Is it the lens on it?
yeah,
Is it because the actor? Is it the actor that I'm looking at and I'm saying I don't like it, when I'm not even talking about the lighting, I'm talking about the
yeah,
performance in front, and
performance.
then you're misinterpreting it as the
Yeah,
frame.
yeah,
I'm like, no, the frame's fine, the acting was bad. But then in my brain I don't know that, so I'm miscommunicating to
yeah.
you.
Right. Yeah.
Because now I feel like, yeah, I'm feeling a lot more confident on that kind of stuff lately, like the award-winning short film. Mia, Jenny, and also me, the Max Goldberg was a DP on that, and that one was, I think it was all handheld in some fashion, and
The one that travels through time.
yeah, like the
Uh-huh.
hopping in the ocean and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. That one was fun, and
It's a lovely film.
that one was definitely more of a, I'll say something, I'm like, this is what I want to see. He'll set something up, and I trust him to set up the frame and kind of what his instinct is, and then I'll look at it, and then I'll go through it, and then I'll have my notes on it, or even as it's happening, I'm like, right, push it, walk up on it, get closer, or whatever, and then he kind of goes with it, and make it happen. Because sometimes, like especially for that specific one, there's the big transition scene where she like teleports into the water,
Yeah.
and she eventually pushes herself off the sand in slow motion
Yeah.
and looks forward to the spaghetti. I think there was a moment in there where he was too wide on it. I'm like, no, we got to get in there and see that face. Get in. But like racing the sun and stuff. And luckily it was MOS, which means we're not shooting sound. So I could speak over speak to
Yeah.
him at least without distracting her and
I've
get in on that quick, closer.
I've had directors who, so this one specific director, it wasn't an MOS, and he just kept whispering, tilt down. And I had all of that in the sound. I can't even remove that. So, yeah, that's funny. But, yeah, I get
You
it.
should know when you can speak, for sure. That because as a script supervisor, a lot, especially like on comedies too, directors will just like crack up laughing, and I'm like, like we're right, like set's right there, like stop. You're gonna ruin the take.
I did not know that. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay.
But it's pretty fun collaborating. So
It's the life. It's the life.
it's also actually cool when, you're with a director who doesn't want to rule the set or something. It's just like them being like, you take over, you can take over the PD, you can take over the
You mean you can
camera.
you can do your job?
Yes, just do what you like and
do what you do.
Yeah. So it has its pros and cons, I guess.
Well, I feel it's like anything else. I think it's a middle ground for sure.
Yeah.
Where you need the direction and the plan,
Yeah.
and then you're allowed to do what you do because you're there for a reason.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna jump to some random questions now. Kind of like jump off the filmmaking thing. It might come back to film. We'll see.
Okay.
But I kind of, yeah. All right. You mentioned being a traveler. I don't know if you can hear that baby there. Probably not. You mentioned being a traveler. I am curious to hear about like where would you like to end up? Where do you want to live in your like what's the goal in terms? Is there
So I'm more of a places over people person. Like I get attached to places more often than I get attached to the people.
Interesting.
Paris. I want to end up in Paris.
Okay, all right.
There it is.
Sure.
No, because I used to think of Paris as a very commercial, mainstream, overrated place.
It's a little basic. I'm just kidding. I've never been.
But no, yeah, like I went there with my parents and I just completely fell in love.
You've been there how many times?
Just once.
For how long?
3 days.
And you fell in love.
I fell in love.
First sight.
I'll tell you one exact moment where I realized that this is it. I want to be here. I was walking towards the Eiffel Tower and, I was just like, meh, whatever about the whole place. I was walking and there were like buildings covering up the Eiffel Tower. So I did not, I wasn't like ready or anything. But then I heard this violin, this person playing a violin, playing Hallelujah. And that was the first time I heard that tune.
Oh, dang.
And the song.
It's a good song.
And I was just like mesmerized. But then the big reveal. One step and I see the shimmering Eiffel Tower at night and that person playing violin, and I just stood there. It was so chilly. It was so windy and chilly. I just forgot about all of that. I just focused on these two things, and I remember having tears in my eyes. I was like, this is where I want to be.
Dang, that sounds quite beautiful.
It's full of art. I know, like, there's a different side to Paris altogether, but then there's this art side.
What's
that
the other side to Paris? What are you
Like,
referring to?
people say, I haven't seen it as I've heard it, but like people say it's dirty. People aren't that good. They're like a little rude over there. No offense.
Well, that's everywhere, is it not?
I don't
Like,
know. I've not seen that
in where?
in LA.
What are you talking about? LA is one of the dirtiest cities.
What?
And you not
See,
walk
I come from
around?
India. Okay, ocean. I did not say.
Sure.
I mean,
When
let's face it.
Okay, from my perspective, in as an American,
Okay.
LA is very dirty, and it's hard to go anywhere without like the homeless encampments and all that kind of stuff. And there's trash everywhere, fast food stuff. Like I was doing a stint around my neighborhood where I was picking up trash every day with like one of those pickers and like filling up garbage. Like I think I did one bag. I think I did like almost 100 bags of garbage over like, a few months or something like that.
Oh.
And it's just like the sidewalks are sticky and people are sleeping, and so I think and then there's a lot of crime here too, depending on what part of town you're in. So I'm like, there's always different sections, especially in big cities. I'm sure Paris has got to have, it's.
Yeah, I think I just fall in love with the show. I mean, I know about this. I've watched a lot of documentaries, the crime documentaries relating to LA. Now that I'm here, but
To scare yourself or what?
no, I'm just fascinated. I love
Of course,
crime
of course you
documentaries
are.
and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, what is it with why? What is it about the crime documentary? They're not really my thing. I do not get much out of watching a crime documentary. Like when, for instance, early in quarantine lockdown, Tiger King came out. I don't know. Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it.
Tiger King starts out kind of cool, investigating like this like underground kind of zoo network with like selling cubs off and like breeding tigers, and how it all works, and how they don't pay anybody that works there, like all that kind of weird scummy stuff that goes on. And then it eventually just turns into a crime drama, a crime documentary, and I'm like, oh, this is like, I thought this was going to be different. I want to learn about the zoo. And then it's just another murder cover-up story. I'm like, this is lame.
I'm sorry
But
it turned out that way for you.
you would like it. You would like it.
I love crime documentaries. Like, I don't know, it's horror, this whole genre, crime, horror, thriller, it's like a guilty pleasure
Sure.
for me. Is this, I don't know what, it's just the adrenaline rush that I get, but I'm a big fan.
But like, what is it though? Do you know, like,
what I like about it?
Yeah.
It's just the crazy stuff that goes around in these type of films. I think nothing in particular. I just like the.
So I wasn't sure if it's like the mystery element, or if it's just.
The mystery element. The I don't know. It's the crazy things.
Yeah.
I'm more attracted to that, I guess.
Okay. All right. No, I think it's a common. Yeah, they're popular.
I think that's the reason, like, because I've like come up with 3 scripts that two of them I've shot that are all like horror, crime, cult related.
cults.
is just what comes to my mind
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
It's out of ordinary, not ordinary at all, I feel.
Yeah. Okay. I'm imagining, I don't want to assume, I don't know, it's like a weird question, but like, is it being able to see this world that you have no experience in and like, well, that actually happens in real life kind of thing with like the cult and the murder? And I'm assuming you have no affiliation with cults and murdering, but like,
You're assuming.
but
Thank
like,
you.
but like it could be fascinating to watch stuff that actually kind of goes on around us without really knowing it and be like, whoa,
Exactly.
that's weird.
See, I'm a person who lives in our bubble, most of the times.
I've heard.
You would. So, I don't know, like watching all these things,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a guilty pleasure.
All right. Sure.
I really don't know.
Let's leave it at
I'm gonna
that.
dig deeper into why I like these things.
No, I think I had heard a stat recently. I don't know how accurate it is. I don't even know what the stat is. I just remember blah, blah. Women are more inclined to enjoy the murder
Is it
documentary than the guy. Like it's primarily women audience are the ones watching.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's new
So
information.
so
Oh,
it's
wow. I'm not
it's the whole
alone.
like serial killer fascination and all that kind of stuff with idolization of cult killer kind of thing, and women will line up and send in fan mail to jails and stuff because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
kind of like
So, this documentary I watched, what's it called? The Night Stalker. The Night Stalker.
mm,
This one guy who was a serial killer in Los Angeles, and how, like, since he was really good looking and charming, girls were like just in love with him or something, despite the fact that he's a serial killer. I mean, I wouldn't go to that extent,
sure.
but yeah, I like
Well,
to
I
know
mean,
the stories.
in theory, like it could be kind of hot to date a serial killer. Because if you're close to them, keep your enemies close is the saying,
No, no,
and
no, no.
and you know that they would kill for you, which is also great.
You
It's
just
kind of.
have you watched You?
I've seen episodes.
Oh
I did
God.
not.
No, I wouldn't enjoy
That's
that.
that's
I'd
yeah.
like to keep my distance from these people, but
Cool. I think it's healthy. It's a healthy choice.
it is. Looks like it.
Next question. I don't really want to go kind of negative here, but you know what? What makes you angry?
What makes me
In
angry?
a general sense, we can talk about yeah, just as a. For me, I feel like it's very difficult to make me angry, but I do have my pet peeves, for sure. So I don't know if.
It's, let me think about it. What makes me angry is when I'm on set and things wouldn't go according to what I planned them to be. Like, let's say there was this one music video that I was working on, and the script was mine, and almost like a lot of the elements that I had thought about were like thought of between me and my director, and there were things that did not go according to the plan, which made me really angry. So it kind of made me irritated, frustrated.
So how off plan? Like, can you give an example of a scenario?
Let's say when the PD stuff, I wanted a certain type of PD, and I got something else, which really ticked me off. But yeah, I try to keep my calm on set. I've heard that, because even me, I don't get angry as much. And I've had people telling me to, you know, take over a situation because I usually don't. I just try to stay calm, composed as much as possible. But those same people have seen me on set and like they've seen me, take over and kind of be, how can I put it? Not myself kind of a thing. Like being more stern and being more a little angry or something.
Sure,
And
sure.
they were just like, you need to be this in life so that
Can get
you
the stuff done or
yes, you
whatever.
get the stuff done.
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't get angry as much either.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I know, I don't know. My pet peeves are it usually comes down to communication stuff where it kind of feels like this, I don't know, it could fall under your thing too with like if somebody says they're going to do something and then they don't do it, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
That's
Yes, it is.
frustrating. So like, it's like as simple as if you're not going to do it, don't tell me you're going to do it.
Yeah,
Or if it's not
especially
happening, give me a head, like that whole kind of
yeah,
keep me updated.
updated. Especially when you're like, I mean, on set, basically, like
Sure.
when it's supposed to be happening. When
Well, yeah.
I've been in this situation a lot of times. It's crazy, but I love it. Like
Love the
I love
anger.
the stress.
No, for sure. It's great to be in those situations, having those
Right.
things happening and maintaining your calm and be able to get stuff done. Like that's the good stuff.
Right.
All right. What motivates you? Where do you get your motivation from? How do you
How do I get my motivation?
Yeah, like
Mostly documentaries. Trust me when I say this.
watching stuff.
I just watch a documentary and I'm just like, okay, I have to get shit done. Like documentaries. I would say songs. Songs motivate me. I'm not much of a music person. Hate me if you want, but I don't listen to music a lot.
Sure.
um,
No, nobody's gonna hate you for not.
but yeah, I mean, even the people around me, because they are motivated, I'll be motivated.
Yeah.
There are times when I'm just like, I don't want to do this or whatever. But then people around me will just be like, oh no, let's get it done. And,
Support system a little
oh
bit there.
yeah, people do work like that. Especially my colleagues that I've met here. Very supportive. Like, amazing people that I've met.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Favorite food?
My favorite food. Have you heard? Okay, I think Indian Chinese. Let's say Indian Chinese.
Indian Chinese.
You don't get it much over here, but
Yeah, I don't feel like I've ever had that.
I've had Chinese over here. It's just the taste I've developed, I think.
Okay, so when you say Indian Chinese, does that mean Chinese food in India?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have like a totally different kind of Chinese food that they make, and it's yummy. I also like street food in India.
Why do you why that face? It's not a common. It's not a common.
No, I just thought
Most people don't like it, or
no, because you might not know about it. So
no, it's fine. Street food in India.
yeah, like street food basically.
Okay, well, what about here? Now that you're here, since you don't have those things, how are you getting by?
I love In-N-Out burgers. Yeah, I think just that. I recently
In-N-Out
tried
burger.
Korean barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
It was overwhelming, but um, yeah, it was good. But I'm not a big fan. I think like what else?
So when you see, so you went to a spot where you cooked your stuff on
Oh
the
yeah,
stove and all that, and had the
yeah,
whole experience.
yeah. For the first time.
I don't, I don't quite get it.
Why? What?
I don't understand going to a restaurant to cook my own food. I just don't get it.
So I was more excited because I like my food a little burned. Like
Yes, you can control it a little bit. Yeah,
yeah, and like yeah, I like it that way. So I
that's
got to
fine.
burn my own food basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I guess that's a plus.
I don't know. What else do I like to eat? I like cooking my own food, I guess.
Do you? You cook
Yeah.
your own food?
Yeah.
That's good. You don't
Yeah.
live off In-N-Out? That's good.
No. I also tried Pazuki. Have you tried that?
Yes.
I recently tried Pazuki. Oh my
Pazuki
God.
is specific to the one restaurant, right?
Yeah,
Or is it?
BJ's,
Yeah.
if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Pazukis are great.
Amazing.
It's very simple.
Yes.
A dish
Yeah.
with a fresh baked cookie, still warm out of the oven, a scoop of ice cream on top. Great
I
stuff.
was left speechless. I'm like, what is
Which
this?
one did you have?
What was it? Caramel
Mm,
cookie or something.
okay.
Yeah,
Like
caramel.
vanilla ice cream scoop on there?
Salted caramel. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was lovely.
That sounds good. I love my dessert. I got a sweet tooth, as they say. All right, I'll try to close off with, well, unless you have any questions for me.
Yeah, I want to ask the same questions to you. I was
Okay.
just waiting.
Oh, please.
Yeah, so
What's
what are your hobbies, first of all?
I just told you I don't have a life, so.
No, but like, there's reading.
I read.
Yeah.
I write.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of doesn't feel like a hobby because it's toward a project or like it's productive.
Do you keep a journal?
I journal. I picked up journaling this year, daily journal.
That's sweet. How is that going?
It's been difficult. Like sometimes I've had difficulties implementing it into my routine. Like I forget that it's there and then I have to do my journaling. Like it hasn't quite grabbed. I don't often know what to put in it. I'm just like, I guess I'm just recounting my day. I did this today. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I feel like this today. I'm worried about this tomorrow. But like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like what I'm getting out of it still, but I'm going through the process at least, keeping up with it. But
Sweet.
hobbies, I don't know. I run.
Oh, you run.
I like to go to the park and throw some frisbee if I get a buddy to go
Oh.
with me. I like the outdoor experience.
Sweet. Sweet.
And then on occasion, like I mentioned, hitting the beach has been nice. I think I went to the beach twice in the last 6 months.
Wow. What?
It's like a new record. So there's that. I don't know. Video games. I'll burn time with my Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I like to play Smash Brothers on there, Super Smash Bros.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I don't know. I'm not a. The filmmaking is a fun stuff, and I combine it as the hobby and the profession. So
Yeah, I would second that. What's your favorite food?
if I usually lean toward Mexican food.
Oh yeah.
Like it's hard to go wrong with Mexican food, tacos, burritos. I am a big fan of like, the sauce, like the big burrito with the sauce over it, and like it's just full of stuff and it's like wet, so it's just like every bite is gooey and flavorful with the sauce. Like
Personally, I try to stay away from messy food. That's the thing about like Mexican food. I love it, but it gets me all messy.
how? I mean the big burrito, like the wet burrito, isn't designed to like hold. Like you well, I guess I don't know. It's hard to cut. Is that the issue, or are you just
I
like
get-
a sloppy eater?
I don't know. It's just everything falling off, and then everything around my face. It just
It's
gets me so
great. It's
annoyed.
great.
It's so annoying.
Maybe it's because I'm a dude. I don't know. Like, I don't mind a messy face and a shirt covered in stuff. Like, I know, like, one thing, what do I eat? Um, Sometimes it's like barbecue food. Because, you know, you get barbecue all over your mouth when you're taking your bites.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Or,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So sometimes, I know growing up, in Reno, there's a big rib festival. Uh, they close down the street or like one of the main streets for a whole week, and there's huge competitions and stuff, and me and my family go all the time, and I usually like wait till I'm done eating before I wipe my face. So I'm like, there's no point in wiping my face after each bite. Like, it's gonna just let it all let it all get there, and then clean it at once. You know, it's kind of more. So I don't quite mind it, but I also grew up eating tacos and burritos like all the time. So maybe. I don't know if you have the same experience, but
Not really. But like, I would
if they
say
have
Indian
Indian,
food is
Mexican.
so similar to Mexican food.
So then how do you have a hard time eating it?
Because,
What's the difference?
I mean,
Just greasier?
yes, oh my God, yeah.
Just,
We can talk about that after this is done, but
okay.
my God, I recently had this burrito, so greasy. I was like, because I've never had that type of Indian food before, I would say.
So it was Indian food.
No, no, no,
It was Mexican food. Okay. All
Actually,
right.
it was French. It was a French burrito. It's difficult to
French.
distinguish.
A French burrito.
But yeah, another question for you. What other culture or ethnicity do you like apart from Mexican culture?
Are you talking about food?
No, just the culture, like.
That's a weird
I know.
question.
I know.
I'm trying to think about my experiences with, like, I knew when I grew up in Reno, I had like a pretty mixed friend group. Like, I had Mexican friends and Filipino friends, and so I know I would hang out at their houses a lot and experience like their family gatherings and whatnot.
Because since you're American, you've seen a lot of different cultures.
Sure.
So
I haven't really. The weird thing about I don't put much stock into. I don't know how I really view culture. It's kind of weird for me, because like I remember like when I grew up, as I was growing up, I have this like look on myself of like, what are you, kind of question that I get a lot, or would get a lot growing up. So people wouldn't really know, wait, are you Mexican? Are you white? Are you Ecuador? Are you South American? Or like all that kind of stuff. So when I would ask my parents about it, I'm like, so like, hey, what am I? What am I, Mom? They're like, you're Spanish. You're Spanish. Just say you're Spanish. I'm like, what do you mean? Just say I'm Spanish? Like, what does that mean? So I kind of just like I didn't quite, for me, grasp onto any sort of specific culture. Like, I just feel like whatever I've adapted, whatever. I don't even know how to describe what culture it's like America. So when I do not really associate a specific culture to me too much, I don't really put that on other people too. So
that's sweet. Okay.
So when I think about your question, I don't know how to answer it.
You don't have to.
I don't know how to answer it.
Fine.
All right. Well, the audio cut out there at some point, so I don't know where it cut out, but here we are at the end. Outro. Srushti Kalse. I tried. Okay, so
You succeeded.
thanks. So I would say thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
All the best with 2021 and the student visa life and freelancing in Los Angeles,
Same to you.
straight out of film
I
school.
mean, yeah. I hope it goes good for you too.
Thank you.
I hope it goes good for everybody in 2021. It's been a bad whole year, 2020. So, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Yes, I agree with that sentiment. Where can people keep up with you to see what you're up to and what you got going on? And
Um, I'm most probably gonna keep posting a lot of my work on Vimeo, and I'm gonna keep it public. Um, I almost all the time keep updating my Insta. So, yeah, a lot of
and
that.
and it's just search your name and you can pull you up on Vimeo and Instagram pretty
Yeah,
easily there.
yeah.
Sweet.
At Srushti Kalse on Instagram and on Vimeo too, actually. um, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's about it. And if you wanna like check my work, I have a page on IMDb, so that too, I guess.
Great. Perfect. Follow Srushti and great. I'll leave it at that. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bum, 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 bum.